What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota and welcome back to Coda's Colognes. And today we're going to be reviewing, by special request, we're going to be reviewing Azzaro's Wanted by Night. Someone had commented and asked me to review this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the full note breakdown. We're going to do the full video like we normally do. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with the atomizer, which is pretty solid. Standard Azzaro atomizer. The atomizers on the Azzaros are pretty good. Me personally, I really like this fragrance. This has a profile and a breakdown that I genuinely enjoy. As soon as you spray it, you get some cinnamon, you get some of that fruitiness, you get a little bit of sweetness, and that's just kind of what I'm picking up on the air. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put two there, and then while this gets very fruity. It is very fruity on the opening. Like, it's when you look at the profile of this fragrance, it's kind of weird to see how fruity this smells on the opening. A little bit of fruity, a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of cinnamon, and that's just what I pick up on the nose of it. But anyway, so let's get this bottle spinning up. We'll see you in a second. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and go over the notes on this one. And unlike what Azzaro normally likes to do, this particular fragrance has a very lengthy note breakdown. Normally they only give you a handful. This one gives you quite a bit. So on this one, we're gonna have top notes of cinnamon, mandarin orange, lavender, and lemon. I don't get much of a citrusy opening on this. To me, a lot of the opening I get is cinnamon and some of the fruity notes that's in this. As for a lot of the top notes, I really don't get much on that. The middle notes on this dries down through fruity notes, incense, red cedar, and cumin. The cumin to me is what gives it a little bit of that warm, spicy, very well blended to where it's not an overpowering, like peppery scent. The red cedar and the incense, to me, I kind of how it gives it some of that smoked wood. And then this one dries down to the base notes of tobacco, vanilla, cedar, leather, benzoin, iso e super, cypress, and patchouli. So this fragrance has a lot going on in it, and I'm surprised Azzaro put this many notes out for it, because like I said, normally they don't put half these out there. Normally you get, 4, maybe 5 if you're lucky. So I'm kind of surprised they went this route. But I kind of like it. I like knowing some of the notes. That way you kind of know what to look for and to pick for. And to me, it helps appreciate the blend, especially of a fragrance like this. Because when you first spray this, you get a lot of cinnamon, a lot of fruity. You can pick up on some of that incense. You get some of that woody note right out of the gate. And you also get a lot of that benzoin right out. So to me, when you first spray this, it's a good cinnamon fruity sweet. But this has also been blended well enough that this has a dramatic change on the dry down to where it turns into more of that smoky, cedary tobacco fragrance. That's one of the profiles that I absolutely love the most. But now that I've talked about on this enough, let me get y'all spun back around and we'll get on with the review. Alrighty, and welcome back. We have given this about 30 minutes to start to dry down. And as it dries down, it loses a little bit of that cinnamon. It holds on to a lot of that like warmth, some of that spiciness. The tobacco starts to pull through a little bit the more it dries down. The benzoin pulls through. The benzoin mixed with the vanilla does make this lean to be a very sweet fragrance for what it is. The tobacco notes to me kind of harshens it up just a little bit, but to me, I like that. To me, it gives it more of a sweet, sophisticated type of smell, and not bad by any stretch. I genuinely like this fragrance. When it starts to get into like a little bit of deeper dry down, and this is speaking from my personal experience, not right now, but when this starts to get into a much more of a deeper dry down, it does some of that tobacco and wood start to blend very well. It gets a little bit more of that cedary note. The tobacco starts to gain a little bit of steam on the deep dry down. The benzoin, to me, the difference between benzoin sweet and vanilla sweet is vanilla sweet is like that overwhelming raw sweetness. And benzoin, it is sweet, but it's not like an overwhelming sweet. It's a very soft, kind of easy on the nose sweet, if that makes sense. And one of the favorite things that picks up on this, and it's a middle note, but it pulls all through the dry down, is incense. It gives a little bit of a smokiness. It gives it some of that almost like smoked cedar type of smell to it, and I really like that. I like fragrances that use incense a lot because I kind of like having that kind of smoky tobacco smell. And not like a cigar necessarily, but it's more of like a smoky, tobacco, woody type of fragrance. All right, so I'm going to lead into the pricing and availability portion on this. Availability wise, all your retailers should have this. Retail price is going to run you about anywhere from 100 to 110. Most discounters actually don't have this anymore. I've seen a lot of discounters that no longer get this. There is still a handful that do. I want to say the best price on discounters I've seen so far was Fragrance Net, and that was $66. I will post a link in the description for that. And then, so we're going to get into the performance of this. So the performance on this is very good. This is a solid performing fragrance. To me, this slides into that 8 to 10 hour range with anywhere from 6 to 8 sprays, give or take. And that's purely based on longevity. The sillage on this is very good. This is a scent that it's very oily, so when it does get applied to your skin, it wants to stick there and it wants to stay there and it wants to boast itself. So the sillage on this is very good. It falls away from your skin very beautifully. The projection on this one, the projection's a little bit to be desired for, but given the concentration, some eau de parfums and parfums, they're not massive projecting. They stay closer to the skin and the scent just kind of rises. It doesn't have monster projection, but when you're up and you're moving around, the sillage on this is awesome. It is very good. And the air scent on this, to me, a little bit better than the skin scent. Like, the magic's in the air. And when this does get in the air, say if you got somebody walking past you or you're walking past somebody, they're gonna want to stop and say, what's that? But when you wear this fragrance, this is even though this fragrance has been blended beautifully, it is a very bold fragrance. It's not necessarily an in-your-face fragrance, but it's very bold. It's very foot-forward type of fragrance, and that's kind of what I love about this. To me, the only one that might be better than this would be Wanted Parfum. That would, in my opinion, that's the only one that might be better than this. And the only reason I would rank that one just a smidge bit better than this one is because it has that same smokiness to it, but the profile of it and the way that one was blended just lasts a little bit better on me. If this one would last a little bit better, like I said, 8 to 10 hours, you can't ever complain about that. That's solid performance. If you get 8 hours of solid performance, I don't think anyone would say that fragrance has ever been a letdown. But just if you stack this one up to its big brother, I guess little brother, since this one came out first, I don't know. When you stack this one up to Most Wanted Parfum, I just feel like that one nicks it out this much more. But this one still being a insanely close second. Now, the person that asked me about this fragrance asked if a teenager could wear this fragrance. And yeah, I think they could. The only tricky part about if you're a teenager wearing this fragrance is if you're, say, in school or college, however you want to do that. If you're in a classroom, don't put a lot of this on because this is a big fragrance. This will fill up a room, and not necessarily from the projection standpoint, but just this scent profile carries well. So yeah, I easily think a teenager could wear this. It's just sweet enough. It's just fruity enough. It's going to have some of that youthfulness to it. And I think that the age gap for this one could swing quite the other way. It's got cedar notes, it's got that leather, it's got that tobacco, it's got the benzoin, it's got some vanilla. To me, vanilla is more of a younger fragrance. Benzoin is more of a more matured sweetness. So because this has both, you can kind of lean both ways on that. If you're a teenager, you can get away with this. If you're someone who appreciates the older scents in life, you can still get away with this as well. It would work for both. Thank you for asking me to review this. If someone wants me to review a fragrance, all you have to do is ask. If I don't have it, I'll do my best to get my hands on it. That way I can give you a full, accurate review. And thank you. I genuinely appreciate someone doing that because I kind of like doing stuff like this. So, as I said, that is going to wrap us up. Go ahead and get it on this bottle one more time. I love these bottles, by the way. I know a lot of people say they're a little tacky, a little gimmicky, but just me personally, I really like these bottles. Sorry, off topic. Thank you, everyone who's watched. Thank you, everyone who subscribed. Thank you for the 100 subs. That giveaway video was just the other day. Sincerely, thank you. I'm glad I'm able to at least have fun doing this, and I'm glad people are enjoying seeing what I'm doing my best to put forward. So sincerely, thank you. And as always, that is going to wrap us up, and we'll see you next time.